This is John T for the Boxing Voice. I'm delighted to be joined this evening by American heavyweight knockout artist Raphael Akpejiori. How you doing, Raphael?
Doing well. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. What have you been up to today? I think you've been up in the air on a plane, have you?
Yeah, actually, I just got back from Atlanta, Georgia. A friend of mine was having a birthday celebration, so I went to spend the day with him yesterday. I'm just getting
Very
back
nice.
right now.
How's that? What, like an hour on a plane, is it?
An hour and a half.
Yeah, not too bad.
Right.
It's nice to be able to just jump on a plane for an hour and a half to go somewhere for a party, you know. It's not like that over here in the UK. Well, good stuff. Well, look, really keen to talk to you about your boxing career because you're making a lot of noise at the moment. But before I do that, if that's okay, I want to find out a little bit about your youth and what brought you over to America. So I believe you were born in Lagos, in Nigeria, and then at 17, you got a scholarship to come over to Wichita, Kansas. Is that right?
Yes, when I growing up, I played the basketball. Actually, I played a lot of sports growing up, but basketball was the first really organized sport that I played with hopes of making something out of it. I came here when I was 17 after playing multiple basketball camps in Nigeria, and initially I played in some NBA basketball camps. The first one was the Big Man Camp, the Giants of Africa Big Man Camp. Then the second one after that, I graduated to the Basketball Without Borders basketball camp in South Africa, which is a collection of about 100 of the best basketball players, of the best young basketball players of that year in the continent. And I was picked in the top two. And from there, I came to the United States to play in the Jordan Bryant Classic, which is the Michael Jordan All-Star game for the best high school athletes in the world. Then from there, I got a scholarship to play at Sunrise Christian Academy, which is a nationally power-ranked high school, basketball high school in the country, in the United States. And that's how my journey really began in sports and in the United States.
That must have been quite hard for you because I think you're one of 6 siblings. Is that right? So you left mum and dad and all your brothers and sisters. How did you find that?
It was hard. It wasn't hard because, I was at that age where I didn't like them much. I was always looking for a way to get out of going away from them. But, over a very, very short period of time, I realized that I was all by myself at age 17 in a foreign land with nobody to cry to or no house to go when things are going wrong. Leaving was not hard. When I got here, that was the hard part, because all my problems had to end up in my head and I had to find a way to figure it out. But it was fun. I mean, we're in the age of technology where you can just easily. Then you had Skype all the time, so we could Skype as much as we could. International text messaging was working then, started working then, so that was a good thing. Was a good thing for me then, and things got better with technology, and now we just FaceTime.
Yeah, excellent. Well, look, you must have done really well in Wichita because I think within a year or two, maybe you were snapped up by Miami. Was it University of Miami to again go and play basketball down there? Is that right?
Yeah. When I came to the United States, I was being recruited by a whole lot of major schools. I played AAU basketball. I don't know if you know what that is in England. It's more of a summer basketball camp. Basketball, you go on summer travel teams and you go play in different places in different states, in Vegas, Orlando, New York, Kansas City, wherever the big Nike tournaments are, Adidas tournaments are. So I snapped my ankle in Orlando. I think it was an Adidas national tournament, if I'm not mistaken. So that kind of set me back a lot. I was out for a year. And I got back to playing basketball again. Then I got recruited by University of Miami. I played one more AAU season, and I got recruited by University of Miami, and that's how collegiate basketball started for me.
Really interesting. I've seen some pictures of you. I think you've had the privilege of meeting the late, great Kobe Bryant, and I believe you played with some currently active NBA players. Is there any that you could mention that you played with?
When we're in the Jordan Classic, it was more about Kemba Walker, Greg Monroe, that class. It was a year before. It was a year after Michael Beasley, and 2 years after Kevin Durant. So it was. I can't remember a whole lot of. I knew all of them, but I can't remember them like that. But I remember Kemba Walker because I actually talked to him while we were at the camp. Greg Monroe, he was big like me. Who else was there? It was the 2010 high school also McDonald's American camp that it was. I mean, a lot of people I know playing the NBA now, a lot of friends of mine. Shane Larkin just left the NBA, plays in the Euro League, plays for Anadolu FS. He's probably one of the best players in the Euro League right now. Josh Richardson was my friend in college. He played at Tennessee, went to the Miami Heat. Right now, he plays in Dallas. Buddy Hield, he was in my high school. He plays for Sacramento. I think he was with New Orleans first. I think yeah, he was with New Orleans and he got traded to Sacramento. Anthony Gill, I think he plays in Washington. If I'm not mistaken. Just a whole lot of people, that we've known ourselves over time, from the youth league, you
Yeah,
know.
shows how good the university must have been for sport in general. I mean, a couple of names you mentioned there. I do follow the basketball. Kemba Walker in particular at the Celtics, really big.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, arguably in some people's opinion, best player in the NBA. So they're great experiences for you. And then from basketball, am I right in saying that you was something to do with the Miami Dolphins in the NFL? Is that right?
Yeah, actually, I've had a very interesting journey. So while I played basketball in college, I was also an engineer. If you know this, Nigerian parents don't care too much about your sporting, and they care more about your academics. So I was studying to be an engineer, and it so happened that I didn't graduate on time. I didn't graduate within 4 years because I was also getting a master's degree. So to get my master's degree, I got recruited by the football coach, Al Golden at that time. And I played 1 year of football with the University of Miami. I didn't get qualified to get on the field or for a game day, but I practiced with them. I did everything with them, trained with them. And I had an amazing pro day. My pro day numbers were one of the best in the country. I think, my 40 time was terrible, but all the other drills, what do you call the jump? My vertical jump, my L drill, my three cone drill. I had the highest numbers for any player in my position in the country at that time. I think that was in 2014 NFL Pro Day. So I got snapped up by the Miami Dolphins. It was a crazy story because I'd never played back football before. I was just coming from a university's practice squad to a major NFL football team. So I was in NFL training camp with them for a while. I didn't make the final 53. Fortunately and unfortunately because that was my dream at that time. Fortunately because, that brought me to where I'm at today and I'm grateful for it.
A man of many talents. And I do believe you got your master's and a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well done. Excellent. How do you think, or what do you put down to you being able to transfer from different sport to sport? Because that's very, very rare. And I appreciate that you didn't play in the NBA, but the level that you went in at college and university would suggest that you had the ability, and very similar there to the NFL. And obviously, I'm going to come on to in a minute where you are doing very well when you're boxing. That's quite a hard thing to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the talent, I was born tall, so when
That
you're born
helps.
tall, all you have to do is now put in the extra work. And over time, I put in the extra work over time. I was opportune and blessed that my dad had some type of money and he sent me to a boarding school in Nigeria where, I could really, really be active. I played a lot of soccer growing up actually every day of my life for 4 years. I played soccer. From soccer, I was playing badminton on the side. I was playing table tennis on the side. I was playing volleyball on the side. So I was just doing a whole lot of things as a kid. I was privileged to do stuff like that. And when I started playing basketball, I was already coordinated. So though I was playing street basketball, I even though I didn't know what I was doing, I could hold my own physically with speed and all that. Then I learned the sport. I played basketball for a good 8 to 9 years. And when I moved on to football, I was already in shape. I was strong. I mean, obviously I was tall. I am tall, so I was strong. I was in shape. I was athletic. I could do a whole lot of stuff, which meant I just had to learn the skills of football. That took me 6 months, learning to run routes, learning to block, learning to drive your feet, learning to, read concepts, learning a playbook, running routes is one of the hardest things ever, especially for a tall person, because you really have to drop your knees and, you could tear an ACL running routes. That also, after I was done playing football, I worked to the boxing gym just to get in shape. And boom, a coach told me that I should definitely pursue it. And I didn't have to struggle to get in shape. I didn't have to be strong. I didn't have to be fast. I just had to learn the concepts of boxing. And that's how it goes for me. I just have to, at this point, I'm blessed to be able to have the physical abilities, the physical tools. Physicality is not a problem with me. Being in shape is not a problem. It's just more of learning the concepts and the skills and the fundamentals of the game. Then I can put it in good use.
Very interesting indeed. Well, I think you're in the right sport now. So we're moving on to the proper stuff, which is the boxing, which is why we've got you here mainly, because it's a boxing site. So you're up to, not as a professional record now, you've had 9 fights, 9 wins, 9 knockouts. I think, is it 6 or 7 first rounds and then a couple, 2 or 3 second rounds. So you are kind of making a lot of noise. Before I move back to the pro bit though, there was talk of you going to the Olympics for Nigeria at super heavyweight. Is that still a possibility, or can that not happen now?
When I talk, I laugh every time that talk comes up. I it was this time last year, February 7th of 2020. I was called for the Olympics to represent Nigeria. I went down to Nigeria. I went through the training camp, everything. We did everything, then it was time for us to travel, and we couldn't travel. I'm not going to go into details of what happened. I think that will be left for you and the rest of the media to go talk to the Nigerian authorities as to why that didn't happen. But it was kind of unfortunate, because a lot of guys actually gave up a lot of things, money, time. And what hurt me the most were the guys that were actually local who gave up their lives. I know a guy who lost it all because he wanted a chance to compete for bigger things. His job fired him while he was in camp, and he really worked hard, and I believe that he would have gotten an Olympic qualification spot, but he never got the chance to do that, which is very sad because playing basketball, which was 12 years before that. I was involved with the Nigerian basketball team when I was under 18. And it was kind of the same thing. You would think that it would be a little better, but unfortunately, it got much worse with no shame. What they do there is very shameless. I'm not actually giving you details, but yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And would I be representing Nigeria again? There's a less than 25% chance that would happen. Mm-hmm. I don't think I will, even if I'm given a golden opportunity, because they left a very, very bitter taste in everybody's mouth.
It sounds very interesting and very professional there, not letting too much out of the bag, but I'm sure maybe we'll find out another time. Well, look, you're in the box seat anyway because you're in America and you've had your 9 fights as a pro. So where do you think you might be going next? Will be stepping up the levels? I mean, over in America at the moment, I'm in the UK, but in America, all your sports seems to be back on. You've even got crowds at some events, etc. So have you got a fight arranged?
Yeah, I mean, we're working on a host of fights right now, The unfortunate thing is a lot of these fighters have not been in the gym for a while. Mm-hmm. That's what they say, I guess. So we're working on getting more fights, and I can't go into details on contracts that have not been signed yet. Yeah. We can hopefully fight in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks, in May. We have a lot of dates lined up, but those fights haven't been signed yet, so I can't really talk much about them. But for me, my goal is to just keep moving up the ladder. My coach, Glenn Johnson, he has a plan. I have my plan. Our plan sometimes don't align because I'm ready to fight the heavyweight champion of the world today, but he's the OG in the business, so he's like, you got to slow down. I'm like, bro, I think I'm good enough, and he's like, I know you're good enough, but now it's not the time. There's a method to this madness, and you need to trust me to take a hold of it. So right now I'm just trusting in the people that handle me and my trainers and my the matchmakers that he has that are helping us in the camp, and just keep moving forward from there.
Yeah, really interesting. You mentioned Glenn. I mean, Glenn's the next world champion himself, so I'm sure he'd definitely know in terms of working the way up and getting the opportunity at the right time for you to start stepping up the levels and challenging someone big. Which brings me on. I'm going to chuck a couple of names in there anyway because you didn't want to. We've had Christopher Lovejoy on the show recently. He has a similar record to you, maybe a few more fights, but he's making a bit of noise. One or two people questioning the quality of his opponent because there isn't that much viewing of it, and all of his fights happen in Mexico. But he's another one who's 17-0 with 17 knockouts, and again, I think he's 15 first round and a couple of second round. Would that be a fight that would interest you?
Listen, anybody can get it from number 1 to 1,000. You know, Christopher Lovejoy actually is a friend of mine. He actually came out to support me in the last fight. You know, and you know, I think I haven't seen him fight yet. It'll be very wrong to judge a man based on the quality of his opponent if you didn't see him fight, you know, because he will surprise you in the ring. So to fight a guy like that, you better be on your game, you know. Do I know how he fights? Yeah, I do, because I know how he's done in the gym, you know, in sparring and all that. You know, I know people that he sparred, and I've seen him in some ways or the other, but that's different from a fight. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's quality. I think those 17-0s with 17 knockout record, I don't think he's just something you should push over. You know, the media will probably tell you that, hey, he's not that, but the boxers will tell you that don't mess with it.
I think that's what makes it really interesting. It's mysterious almost, because when I interviewed him, I said, on paper, you've got the best CV and the best record in the world. And he went, I am the best in the world, which is what I'd expect him to say. But, you know, just because some people haven't seen it all, it'd be interesting when we do see him out next. And I know he's keen to come over to England. And speaking of English heavyweight fighters, there are, I hope you don't mind me saying, but we've got all the belts over here, and we've got the two, probably 1 and 2 in the division. But I think you've got your eye on another heavyweight, and that's Dillian Whyte. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to fight Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is one of the guys that I keep talking to my coach every day about fighting. I think our skills match up perfectly. And if I'm going to get a step-up fight in the future, I think I would match up well with Dillian Whyte. I actually like his style because he has a very aggressive, no quit. Even after the fight, you know, the way he talks, you can tell that he's very passionate about the way he fights. And those kind of guys really, I think I do well against those kind of guys, and we always find a way to put on a good show, you know, when I fight those kind of guys. So I like tough guys like that, you know, guys who are, you know, who believe they are what they are, because I believe they are what they are, but I also know what I possess. I have a good idea of what I possess and how I match up well with them. So Dillon White will be a great step-up fight for me in the future. Hopefully in the nearest future than the farther future. And hopefully he has a belt by the time we get cracking. So
we'd look forward to that if it happens. Just while we're on Dillian, then he's out next week in his rematch with Povetkin. Do you think he'll avenge that rematch? And do you think he'll come through this time?
Fights like that are hard to judge. The reason why is if you're coming from a knockout, there's always that little button inside of you, and there's always that connection that has been made from your chin to your brain. And once they touch that again, you just got to go to sleep again. You know, now the good thing about that fight was that it has been postponed, I think, twice already. So he's had that would have happened if it was like a 3-month space for a rematch. I think he would have gotten knocked out again by Povetkin just because of the mental part of it, not because of the skills part of it. But because the COVID period has given him that long extension, I think he has a chance. And I think it might, if he goes the distance, which I believe it will, I think Dillian Whyte will win.
Interesting. Well, we look forward to that. And just one last one before I let you go. We're waiting any day now. I've been saying that for a while for the big announcement for Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury. That may happen in the summer. If that does happen, who do you think will win that and be undisputed champion?
A month ago, I would have said, I would say Tyson Fury will win, because Tyson Fury's win against Deontay Wilder was more impressive. You can see that he started sitting on his punches and putting his weight behind it. And you have to also understand that Tyson Fury is a very tall man. And he carries a natural weight that he moves around like a lightweight. If he fights the same way that he fights, being in better shape, that he fought Wilder, I think he's going to give Anthony Joshua a lot of problems. Now, don't disrespect Anthony Joshua, because Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, is the most fundamentally sound heavyweight in the world. at this point. You know, his everything he does is by the textbook. He's so technical, you know, and with guys like that, it's hard to see openings, except maybe you catch him by mistake like Klitschko did, or maybe he messes up like when he did against Andy Ruiz. Maybe he gets so, you know, riled up and tries to do something that's out of his nature. But I think with Anthony Joshua at this time around, with the time frame and with the things we know on the back end that you guys don't know, I think Anthony Joshua will win as of today. Now things might change in the future.
Interesting. A lot of people over here think it's 50-50 anyway. It's divided opinion. And if, as you said, heavyweight fighters, anything can happen on the night. Either one could knock the other one out if they catch him. Well, thank you so much for your time, Raphael. I really appreciated it. And we'll look forward to getting you back on maybe up and around your next fight or just after, if that's okay with you, yeah?
Absolutely, man. I really appreciate the time. I appreciate the opportunity. And thank you for introducing me to the British crowd.
Yeah, brilliant. Now, thanks for coming on. Cheers, mate.
So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.